Welcome to the Sisters in Service podcast. My name is Categorize. I'm a fellow Air Force veteran who, after 20 years of active duty, struggled with transition after leaving service. The Sisters in Service podcast is a platform to include all women veterans, organizations, military spouses, and Blue Star, Gold Star families in talking about the trials and triumphs we face while in service and after service. I want to take a moment to thank all of you who have taken the time to listen and follow me on my journey. My podcast is every Tuesday, and I hope you will tune in. Until then, please be safe, take care of each other, and until next time. Welcome to another episode of Sisters in Service. I am your host, Kat Corchado, and today I am interviewing a multi-talented person, Elliott McKenzie. When I say multi-talented, you'll see what I mean in a minute. So, Elliott, welcome to Sisters in Service.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kat. I'm honored to be a part of this interview, and I wanted to say thank you for inviting me for sure.
Absolutely. Again, as you've heard me say before, I met Elliott on Clubhouse, and his story was so compelling that I immediately, while I was still in the room, direct messaged him and say, hey, would you be interested in telling your story on my podcast? And so that's what this is about, is people's stories and putting it out there so that you get to know who this person is, but also how talented some of these people are. And of course, he's a veteran. So without further ado, Elliott, give us a little background on your service, where you served, what service you served.
Sure. Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps. So I started in the Marine Corps. So let me give you the backstory. So I joined the Marine Corps 5 days after graduating high school.
Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. What? Yeah. 5 days after high school?
Yeah.
Did you already know that you wanted to do that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I knew from the time that I was a young kid that I wanted to become a Marine. So I joined what's called the Delayed Entry Program, which is a program for high school seniors to join, but it's before their senior year even starts in high school. So basically, the first day of summer after your junior year of high school, you can join this Delayed Entry Program. And that whole summer and then all of your senior year is included in your military service, believe it or not. Even though you're not in the Marine Corps yet, you're not in the military yet, they actually include that because you signed the paperwork the summer after your. So I did that because I knew, like I said, I knew I wanted to join the Marine Corps. And so they scheduled my first day in boot camp, the day I was supposed to leave, for literally 5 days after my high school graduation.
Wow. So you walked across the stage, got your diploma, and started packing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Why the Marines?
Because they're the best. That's why.
He had to say that, you guys. Well, I noticed in your bio, you're like a former Marine. And I was like, okay, wait, once a Marine, always a Marine. That's what I've always been told.
Right. Yeah, it's true. I just put former because if I put Marine, I don't want people to think I'm still on active duty because I'm not.
Oh, I hear you.
So I put former just to emphasize the fact that I got out of the Marine Corps. But yeah, 5 days and I was in there kicking butt, you know what I mean? So
yeah, so where did you go to boot camp?
I went to boot camp in MCRD San Diego.
Oh, how nice. That's nice. Like, a little resort area.
Oh no, it was not a resort at all. Not even close. It was definitely recruit training for sure.
So did you go under general or did you know exactly what job you wanted to do in the Marines?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to be an 0311. Yeah. I didn't want to go into the Marine Corps and then sit behind a desk. I figured if I was going to be like an admin assistant, I could do that in another branch like the Air Force. So
hey, I'm an Air Force veteran, you know.
Exactly. Why do you think I said that? So yeah, I was like, if I'm going to join the most elite branch of services, I've got to go into the infantry, you know? So I knew I was going to be a grunt before I even joined. Yeah. I told my recruiter right when I met him, I was like, I want to be a grunt in the Marine Corps.
So you did 8 years, correct?
Right. 8 years total. Yeah.
Total.
So I did 5 years in the Marine Corps technically, and then 3 years in the Army Reserve. So 4 years active duty, and then 1 year in the IRR for the Marine Corps, and then 3 years in the Army Reserves. So the total on paper is 8 years.
So what were the different assignments? Where did you go while you were a Marine?
So I started in security forces. So I had 2 MOSs in the Marine Corps. I had a B, what's called a B billet, and then a primary MOS. So my B billet or secondary MOS was 8152, which is security forces. Within security forces, I served first in what's called a fleet anti-terrorism security team, or a FAST team. I served in first FAST over in Virginia. And basically, in a nutshell, what that is it's kind of like the Marine Corps' version of a SWAT team. And we're trained to go into buildings and take them back over, like embassies, things like that, if they've been taken from us overseas. So I did that for about 6 months. And then from there, I went to Washington, D.C., and I served in what's called presidential support duty. And that's basically a small handful of Marines who are selected to go to the Marine Barracks, Washington, or 8th and I, and then also help protect the President of the United States. So I was in that duty for about a year and some change. From there, I got sent to Camp Pendleton to go do my primary MOS 0311, and I was with 1st Battalion, 5th Marines. And with that battalion, I went to Ramadi, Iraq in 2005, and then I went to Okinawa, Japan with them in 2006 with the 31st MU. MU, it stands for Marine Expeditionary Unit. So it's basically just a unit that's overseas in case something happens.
So you're a badass.
I don't consider myself a badass. No.
Oh, come on.
No, I was just doing what I was trained to do and doing what I love to do. So
it's okay. Just say yes and own it. You know? So I noticed in your bio that you were diagnosed with PTSD. So how did you know you had it? Was it through when you had the diagnosis while you were in, or was it afterwards that you realized that you had PTSD?
It was afterwards. So one thing I realized was that PTSD oftentimes will stay dormant in the brain, and something will trigger it, and then it'll just explode, kind of like a volcano. And it was an incident at home that triggered my PTSD after I was already out of the Marine Corps. I was living at home again. It was shortly after I had gotten off of active duty, and I was back home with my brother and my sister. And then I had a very violent incident happen with my brother at home. And that incident ended up being the incident that kind of like woke me up to the fact that I had PTSD. Me and my older brother got into a very physical altercation. I ended up pulling a knife on him, and my mom this was happening in the living room. My mom came out of her bedroom hearing the commotion, freaked out, didn't know what to do, and calls the police. I walk out of the house in frustration. The police put me in handcuffs, and they take me to the VA in Long Beach, and they put me on a 5150 hold. And they were like, we need to evaluate you. And so they found out that I had PTSD and a whole bunch of other things. And that's when I found out what was going on with me.
So did they give you medication? How did they gave you medication for it?
Yeah. So I can't remember what medication I was on while I was in the 5150 hold, but yeah, I was on some kind of, I guess it was like a calming medication, because they initially thought I had anger issues because I was snapping at people, things like that, the anger issues that showed up with my brother that day. So I assume it was some kind of medication for PTSD or anger, anxiety, something. But yeah, I was on medication every day starting then up until about 2000, I want to say 15 or so.
Oh my goodness. So you get diagnosed with PTSD. What happens after that?
A lot. So I left the 5150 ward, tried to go back home, and my mom and my brother basically said, you can't come back here because we're scared of you now. We don't know what's going on with you.
Right.
After what you pulled, we don't trust that we're safe with you. So I ended up sleeping in my car for a while, for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then I started thinking, I got to do something. I can't live the rest of my life in my car, not eating, not knowing where to go, not showering, homeless. So I called the VA because they gave me a number to call if anything happened when I left that 5150 ward. I called the VA and I told them what my situation was. They connected me with a social worker, And that social worker was able to get me into transitional housing through a nonprofit called US Vets. And they, here in California, they have a very large presence because they're based here. And so they have a very large veterans transitional housing facility in Long Beach for homeless veterans. So they were able to get me a spot in that transitional housing, and I was put in there for about a year and a half, I want to say. Yeah, so that was
Until
the
you could
next.
get on your feet.
Mhm.
Well, what
Yeah.
I find fascinating is that you were right on top of the fact that, okay, I must have PTSD. And then after being homeless for a week, you're like, okay, I need to call this number. Like, you acted. You just said,
Right.
some people, it takes them a long time to understand they have PTSD, or maybe their families know, but they're afraid to say anything. And it goes on and it goes on and it goes on until there's an outbreak like you had, or they become homeless and they feel like they have nowhere to go. And
Right.
so, people say, I don't understand how veterans become homeless. There it is right there, you guys. You just heard it. Okay. That's
Yeah.
how it happens, unfortunately. So what you guys don't know is Elliott is very, very talented as a singer, songwriter, musician. Do you play instrument too?
I used to play drums in high school, but I haven't
Mhm.
played drums since then.
Okay, so you write songs, you sing. What you probably, do you write for other people too?
Yeah, yeah. I write for other
Mhm.
people. I write for other local artists as well as myself. Yeah.
Have you written for any big names? Not yet. Not yet, or you
I'm trying to
have?
get there. I'm
I hear
trying to
you.
get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how did you know? Okay, so just saying, I don't consider myself a singer, but I sound really, really good in either my car or my bathroom. Just saying. Okay. In my head, I sound amazing. But
Right.
how did you know you were talented? And what I mean by that is there are people who sing really well, and there are people who sing well enough to make money. So when did you know? What was that point in time when you said, or someone said, whoa, okay, you need to do something with that?
So I'm going to tell you a little story, right? So it actually started when I was really, really young. And it wasn't me who realized it, it was the other people around me. So going back to when I was in elementary school, I was in fifth grade, and the way that my classroom was set up was there was two classrooms, and then in the middle of the classrooms there was like a little, I guess, like a recreational room for like arts and crafts, things like that, and both classrooms had a door to that little middle room, right? So I was in the classroom over here, but my class would always get art projects, so we'd always have to go into the little middle room to do the art projects or get supplies. And
Mhm.
for some reason, whenever I was in that room, I always just started singing. I don't know why, just because sometimes I go in there by myself to pick up crayons or whatever for whatever we were doing. And I'd start singing in that room because I was like, oh, nobody can hear me. I can let it go. So I would. And then one of my friends named Garrett, it's funny because I still know this person to this day. We're still friends on social media now, and we talk about this. But he walked in the room one day when I was singing, what's that song? It's by the Fugees, the
Mhm.
famous one that Lauren Hill, right? Lauren Hill.
Oh, I do know
When
that
I'm in
one.
my pain with his finger, that one, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I was singing that just casually in the room, and he comes in and hears me, and he's like, "Oh my goodness, like you got to be a singer when we get older, and I'm gonna be your manager." So that's when
Oh,
it
that's so
started.
cute. I love that.
Yeah. So we were these little kids in this little art room, and I was just singing away, not knowing he was behind me. And then he
Mhm.
goes, "Hey, Elliot, oh my God, you can sing." And he's like, "When we grow up, you're going to be a singer, and I'm going to be your manager." And that was like how it started.
Mhm.
And I kind of brushed it off. I was like, "All right, yeah, okay, whatever." And I just kept singing. I was in choir in high school. And when I was younger, before I joined the military, and even in the military, it was other people that would like push that on me. They'd be like, "You have a voice, you need to use it." And I would just kind of like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." I didn't take it seriously. Even in
Mhm.
the Marine Corps, I had friends because I do the same thing. I'd walk around singing. And I had friends in the Marine Corps when I was on active duty that would be like, "Bro, like you have a great voice, like you need to become a singer or something with it." And the same thing, I just brushed it off.
Right.
And so it's always been other people who like made me aware of it. I never like had that light bulb go off until I think it was when I released Gunshots or like when I started recording Gunshots, and when I started recording professionally, after the Marine Corps was when I kind of started to get that idea for myself, you know.
Wow. Well, you made that realization and said, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it takes a while. The people are like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do this. My husband had been telling me for years, hey, you have a great voice for radio. You have a great voice. I was like, yeah, whatever,
Right. Yeah.
And then I started podcasting. And I was like, wow, even my brothers were like, you sound so good. And I was like, okay, I need to be doing this. So do you write music and the lyrics or just the lyrics?
I'm what's called a top line songwriter. So a top line songwriter is a songwriter who writes the arrangements for the vocals and the lyrics for the vocals on top of an already produced beat, right? So like
Oh,
let's say
gotcha.
this is the beat, like the drums and the
Mm-hmm.
piano and all that stuff. My
Mm-hmm.
job is to then go in and write the arrangement for the vocals and the lyrics for the vocals. So that's why it's called top line, because it's like almost like on top of it,
Right.
like a layer of cake. The cake is the beat, and then the icing on
Mm-hmm.
is the vocals and the arrangement. So I'm a top line songwriter. So I don't produce music. I don't play piano or anything like that. I
Mm-hmm.
just do the vocals and the lyrics and all the harmonies and anything that has to do with the
Oh,
vocals.
you guys hear that? I just do that. So how would you categorize your music?
R&B, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up listening to Boyz II Men, Usher, As Yet, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Omarion, Chris Brown. So
Yeah.
I grew up listening to, and then my biggest influence is Tank. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm absolutely an R&B singer to the core. R&B is in my blood. It's in my soul. Even as you can see on the thing, my hashtag is
R&B
R&B vet,
vet. I love
because
that.
if you combine R&B singer and veteran,
Mm-hmm.
you get R&B vet. So that's like what I call myself, is the R&B vet. So
That's cool.
absolutely
I
R&B.
want a shirt like that. That's pretty cool. I like it.
You
It's
can
pretty awesome.
you can buy one. They're on my website.
Okay. So music is, I hate it when they categorize it. It just, to me, music is music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I grew up in an era when, way back in the 70s,
Right.
when people, they played their own instruments, they wrote their own music, they wrote their own lyrics,
Yeah.
and today it just seems as though if you look kind of good and you sound kind of good, we can make you a star. Okay.
Right.
So when you
Yeah.
listen to people, and I'm talking as a musician, when you're
Okay.
listening to other uh, artists, can you
Right.
tell the people that have been pitched really well, like, oh God, or can you not tell?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I do is I only listen to singers who can actually sing.
Mm.
I don't listen to people who use a ton of auto tune. I don't listen to artists who I can tell their vocals have been highly edited and highly, changed. Um, like if you look at like my Spotify playlist or any of the music that I'm a fan of,
Mm-hmm.
every singer in that list is a singer. You know what I mean? Like there are people who
Right.
sang like live,
Like they can
no
sing
auto
a
tune.
cappella, like they
Oh
could just
yeah,
break out, like Patti LaBelle, break it out.
yeah,
She could just do it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I can definitely tell when somebody's been highly edited or pushed or pitched, because
Mm-hmm.
maybe like a female artist who's really attractive, and so they're thinking that they can push her because she's hot, but she doesn't have a
Right.
great voice, but so they can just
Right.
edit the voice and make it work. I don't do that. I'm not a
Yeah.
fan of that style. I'm a fan of, I don't care how you look. If you can sing,
Mm-hmm.
and you make good music and you can write good
Mm-hmm.
records and you can put a good album together,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll listen to your stuff.
Not just sing, as in you could just belt it out. So
Right.
can you just do a cappella? You can just boom, just belt something out.
Not you. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to usually because I have
Mm-hmm.
TBI and my
Okay.
memory is horrible. So when people put me on the spot, it's like, oh crap, what do I sing right now? Because
Right.
I'm so used to working with like beats that it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to find something. But I mean, if I'm given a little time, then I can come up with something.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I never thought about that though. That's interesting. I never thought
Yeah.
about it from that aspect. So how does your music help you with your PTSD?
Oh,
Or
so
does
many
it?
ways. It does. Absolutely. It's therapy for me. So my album is called Therapy Session, right? The reason I called it Therapy Session is because music is like going to a therapy session and talking to a therapist for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm in the studio and I'm songwriting, for example, that's like writing in a journal. That's like talking to somebody, that somebody is my microphone,
Mm-hmm.
and getting things off my chest, or telling a story of something that either I've been through, somebody that I know has been through, um, telling a journey. You know what I mean? So it's therapeutic in the sense that it's me getting stuff off my chest,
Right.
me writing about my experiences, releasing those emotions in the song to that, or to that story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then also it's therapeutic when I perform live, because for those of us performers out there, you might know when you go up and you perform any kind of thing, national anthem, comedy show, concert, whatever it is, poetry, you have
Mm-hmm.
like those nerves that are just kind of like kicking your butt
Yes. Yeah.
right before you go up on stage, and you're
Mhm.
like backstage about to go out there, and you're like, you're doing
You're
this and you're
freaking out. You're like, oh my
right.
God. It's just,
I've been taught how to transform that energy into like a way to actually calm myself. And I actually, it sounds weird. I almost use it like a drug, and I get high off of it. So
yeah.
I take that adrenaline and I can flip it, and I found a way to control it within myself, so that I can like kind of harness it, and then I
Hmm.
let it go on stage.
Oh,
So that way,
wow. That's a
yeah, so that
talent in
way,
and of itself.
so usually it's, I mean, more with live concerts, because like I do the national anthem a lot. That's only a
Hmm.
couple minutes, but when I do like a full set, like a 30-45 minute concert, I'd say about 15 minutes in, I'm just high, and I'm high off the adrenaline because I found a way to just let
Hmm.
it go, and I'm
Yeah.
having fun, and I'm like in this zone, and like performing is an
Hmm.
actual like therapy session for me. So
Yeah.
I've learned how to do that, and it's been so remarkable for my health, my mental health especially.
That's so awesome that you can do that. I'm trying to think that it's probably a lot like I used to do a lot of single type of sports like track and field, and it's almost like you harness like that first when you're in the blocks and you're waiting for
Mhm.
that shot to go off, and you're just and then
Yeah,
boom, you just go, and
right.
afterwards you're like, wow, I was good.
Right, exactly.
And you
Yeah.
use that to your advantage.
Oh
um,
yeah.
so what do you have coming up next? What's up next for you?
So officially, what's next? I have a few things that are still pending, which I'm excited about. So I won't talk about those in case they don't happen. But officially, what's next is I'm performing live in concert on June 12th in North Carolina. Um, there is a really big nationwide nonprofit called Irreverent Warriors. And
Mm-hmm.
what they do is they put together what they call Silkies Hikes throughout the country throughout the year. And
Mm-hmm.
these Silkies Hikes are a way for them to do two main things. They bring veterans together, because you have to be a veteran to participate in the hikes. And they
Mm-hmm.
also prevent veteran suicide by bringing veterans together. And they also help raise awareness about veteran suicide,
Mm-hmm.
because these hikes occur in big cities like Dallas, Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix, like the main cities throughout the country. And so while they're walking around, they're telling everybody who's asking, hey, what are you guys doing walking around with these backpacks and stuff and these
Mm-hmm.
green shorts? They spread the word. Oh, we're hiking to raise awareness about the veterans who commit suicide every day. So it raises awareness about veteran suicide and mental illness. So they've invited me to perform live in concert for their North Carolina hike on June 12th. I'm sorry, June 11th is the concert. June 12th is the actual hike. So the way that
Mm-hmm.
they operate is the night, because so the hikes are always on a Saturday in the morning, right?
Okay.
The night before the hike, on the Friday night prior to the hike, the night before, they have like a get together. They call it a meet and greet. And sometimes they'll invite like people like myself, like recording artists, comedians, singers, rappers in the veteran community, to put on a show at the meet and greet that Friday night prior to the actual hike the next day. So
Mm-hmm.
they've invited me to go out there and perform in concert for the night before, on June 11th, I believe it is, the Friday
Mm-hmm.
before the hike. And then during the hike, or right before the hike, the next morning on Saturday, I'm singing the national anthem to kick the hike off, and then I'm going to be hiking with them.
So I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, right?
Well, I mean, now you can
So,
go.
so where in North Carolina is this hike?
Wilmington. It's in, I think the
Hmm.
venue's in Wilmington, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
It's gonna be, I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's that name of that beach right there. I can't remember,
I
but there's
can't
like a,
either.
yeah, but I know I'm staying in Wilmington, that's for sure.
Hmm.
And then it's the actual venue's a little bit south of Wilmington. I think it looks like about a 10 or 15-minute drive. I'm not sure.
So how do
But
people sign up for it if they want to do it? Or do you have to be invited?
no, you just sign up. It's on Irreverent Warriors. I think I gotta double check, but I think it's
Hmm.
irreverentwarriors.com. But
Hmm.
if you're just trying to look for it, just Google it. Just Google Irreverent Warriors, and then
Okay.
their website will pop up. And then under the events tab, it has the list
Hmm.
of all the hikes throughout the year. Find the hike that you want to go to, click on it, and then it'll take you to the Eventbrite. And then on the Eventbrite, you just have to sign up. You put your name, your email, your phone
Right.
number, all that stuff, so they can add you to the list of veterans, because you have to check in when you get there on Saturday morning. Um, and then the reason they call them Silkies Hikes, so this is kind of funny. This is more of a Marine Corps thing, because
Hmm.
the organization was started by a Marine Corps veteran. And so those of us who remember the green little short, little silky shorts that are like this long, like 4 or 5 inches long on us,
I
with the
remember.
yeah, so the trend is all you can wear a shirt if you want, but you don't have to as
Hmm.
a guy. So
Hmm.
guys can either wear a shirt, don't wear a shirt. You wear the silky shorts and you wear your combat boots, and that's it. And then
Hmm.
a backpack that's either 22 kilograms of weight in it or whatever you want, or you
Hmm.
can wear like a flak jacket or something. I normally, when I've hiked, because I've been doing this for this organization for many years now, usually what I'll wear is I'll wear a shirt, the silky shorts, my boots, and then I'll wear my flak jacket from Iraq,
Hmm.
and that's it. So the whole point, the original point, was to wear 22 kilograms in a backpack or in a pack, to
Right.
because of the 22 veterans who commit suicide every day. But obviously, you can wear whatever you want. You don't even have to
Hmm.
wear anything. You could just wear the silky shorts, or if you're not Marine Corps, you don't have silky shorts, you can
Hmm.
just wear whatever you have, whatever shorts you have
I
that
was
can
going
be
to say,
comfortable
do
as
they
your
allow
silky.
Air Force people?
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
any veterans, any veterans from any branch. You're just be aware though, you're going to be surrounded by Marines
It's all
and
right.
Marine
I
Corps
can hold
veterans.
my own. I'm
So
good.
all
You
right, yeah,
know.
they're gonna pull
Mhm.
out the chair force on you.
So if I show up, you're going to know who I am, right? You're not going to say I have no idea who that woman
No,
is.
absolutely, yeah.
People like, I don't know her. Security.
But you gotta go to the concert the night before.
Mhm.
I'll send
Oh
you the
yeah,
information on
that
it.
sounds amazing.
Yeah,
So
there's
where
a
can?
flyer going around for the concert the night before, because it's myself
Mhm.
performing, and there's
Mhm.
also an Air Force veteran who turned into a comedian, so he's
Mhm.
putting on a show as well that night.
Oh, nice. So where can people find your music?
ElliotMcKenzie.com. That's the best place to go if you want to just listen.
Mhm.
My website is like a one-stop shop, but my music is available everywhere. So Spotify, YouTube, um, what else? Pretty much like iTunes, Apple Play, everywhere. My debut album just released in March. All my singles are also available from that album. But my website is probably the best place to go, just for like a one-stop shop, because that has everything. That has my music, my biography,
Mhm.
photos, connections to all the different media performances and interviews I've done, everything. So,
And your
but yeah, if you
website
just
is?
ElliotMcKenzie.com. Yeah.
And what's the
So that's
best way to contact you if someone wanted to, you know,
reach
some
out.
big wig and said, "Hey, in the music industry," was like, "Hey, I need to talk to him." But if
Right.
people have a question or something about Irreverent Warriors or something, how would you? What's the best way to
Um,
contact you?
Easiest way is probably through social media. You can literally just Google my name now. I've been given a Google tab. So if you just Google Elliott McKenzie, a bunch of stuff will pop up. All my social media will pop up. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on everything. And you can just DM me or send me a message on any of those social media platforms. And then my direct email address is elliott@elliottmckenzie.com.
Hmm.
Just make sure that they put two L's and two T's in Elliott, because a lot of people will put one T and it'll go to
Really?
yeah, because the traditional way to spell Elliott is just two L's and one T. but my name has 2 and 2, so 2 L's and 2 T's.
Interesting. I
And
didn't
some
know
people
that.
will forget to put the second
Put the
T,
other,
and then I
yeah.
won't get the email.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the same thing with my website, 2 L's and 2 T's and ElliottMcKenzie.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Just shoot me an email. But if you're on social media, just look for me on social media. My Instagram is probably the best way as well. I'm on there probably more than anything else. It's
Yeah.
Elliott_McKenzie.
Well, Elliott, it's been such a pleasure knowing your story and hearing you speak. And it sounds like you've had such a journey to where you are now. But, there's going to be a time when I'll see you on TV and I'll tell my husband, he was on my podcast. My husband will be like, no, he wasn't. Maybe I should get your autograph now. Just saying. I'll be like, I knew him before he
Well,
blew
if you
up.
want a selfless plug, people can purchase an autographed album from my website. So on my website, there's a tab at the top called Store. And through that store, you can purchase an autographed copy of my album that I will actually mail to you. It's an old school CD. Just throw it in your car or throw it in whatever CD player you have. But I will personally autograph it, and it includes a personalized letter as well. And then also on my store is my clothing line. So I have 3 different clothing lines, or I have one line with 3 different designs within that line. This is one of them, the R&B vet. You can get this on there. And then I have a shirt that just says big R&B because like I said, I'm R&B at heart. And then I also have a line that says let's go, because one of the things that you'll notice is whenever I post a video or I do an interview or anything like that, I always say R&B vet, baby, let's go. Like, let's go, let's get it. Like, I meant to motivate people to like get up. Get off
That's
your
like your
ass and
tagline. Let's go.
It's like my tagline, let's go. So I also have a shirt that says let's go to kind of motivate people. And a lot of my fans have purchased that to like wear to the gym, things like that.
Yeah.
Motivational environments. So I have all that on my website that they can get.
Well, Elliott, thank you so much for being a part of this and saying yes. And I've loved hearing your story and how, you've just, you're blowing up, and that's always awesome. I always love seeing a veteran just make it, they're just, despite of everything that happened to them prior. And so thank you so much for being here today and telling us your story. And so I hope that everyone out there who's listening enjoyed listening to Elliott. And please take care of each other and please be safe. And until next time. Do you find it difficult to come up with content ideas for your podcast? Or perhaps you've gotten stuck during an interview with a guest where you just have nothing to ask anymore? Try Poddex today. Poddex is the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussions for your live streams, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guests. Just shuffle the cards and pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while you're at it, and get your viral moment, all with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use code C4C.